You may know about the recent controversy around Lauren Southern. She is a right-wing journalist who talks a lot about the controversial issues in the world. Now, if you have been keeping up with the news at all, you will know that she was banned from being in the UK. She was barred from entering it. She is being held in jail, and she's going to be sent back to Canada, I assume, right after they've finished with her search and trial. She is being sent back to Canada because she is being held to be a terrorist. Now, why is she a terrorist, you may ask? Well, that's a fun question. Many of you might recognize a terrorist as someone who uses political agendas to cause violence, or to causes violence to change political agendas of the government. You may understand that to be the definition of terrorism. However, in this case, Lauren Southern is a terrorist because she is right-wing in her political ideas. She was going to interview the EDL and I believe the Generational Identity Organization. I believe that's what it's called. However, that is immaterial to the fact that she is being named a terrorist because she is right-wing. If you go on the BBC, you will see that she is not mentioned at all. There is no mention of her even existing, which is pretty scary. Now, she might be mentioned in a couple days. There might be an article about her, what's happening. However, it's scary that people are not immediately reporting on this, because this is clearly a restriction of speech. We are being restricted from talking about our political ideas. Lauren Southern is being barred from entering what was meant to be one of the most democratic states in the world, just because she is right-wing. I don't know about you, but I truly believe that that is completely against the UK's constitution. I did some research into the Terrorism Act, because I am a law student. I am no political expert, however I do follow very closely Ben Shapiro, Milo Yiannopoulos and Lauren Southern on their reports and articles, etc. Not so much Milo, I'm not a big fan of him. However, I believe that it doesn't matter whether you're a political follower or not, you must believe in freedom of speech. If you don't believe in freedom of speech, then you believe in a dictatorship where you're not allowed to scrutinize the government, you're not allowed to scrutinize other people's actions. And it's fine to believe in a dictatorship if you want. Of course, you should have the freedom of thought and freedom of belief. If you truly believe in restriction of speech, then go ahead, believe in that. Everyone has their own ideas. However, I truly believe that we should have freedom of speech and that we should have a democracy. I believe democracy is the only way progressing a civilization, truly, because dictatorship is what corrupts leaders. We've seen this time and time again. And what I am scared about is what this means. What does this Lauren Southern controversy mean? Because many people will watch this video and just believe, well, she's just some right-wing activist. She was probably going to spread hatred in society, which I truly believe she wasn't. Lauren Southern's never been known for spreading hatred. I believe that all she spreads is facts, and she's just trying to talk about controversial issues which really need to be known by the world. Many of you won't really understand the importance of this. The fact that we are restricting freedom of speech means that we're moving away from democracy. The further we restrict our freedom of speech, the further we move from democracy. Now, there are certain restrictions that make sense, such as restriction of derogatory and racist terms, such as the N-word and, of course, any other racial slurs. I understand that, of course. And other restrictions make sense too, the ones which restrict your freedom to express yourself in certain manners where you would be associating with a group. Your restriction on freedom of association. So, a restriction on associating with terrorist organizations such as ISIS or Al-Qaeda. I understand that restrictions, but a restriction of freedom of speech when it is simply your political ideologies. This is a serious issue. Because if we continue to restrict everyone's speech, then what does that mean? That means that we're not going to have a democracy, and I've said that, but what that means is that people will no longer be able to scrutinize their government. They will no longer be able to speak out if they don't believe they're being treated fairly. And that's serious. That is very serious. The fact that she is known as a terrorist just because she is right-wing is scary. I personally am right-wing. I believe in capitalism. I believe there should be restrictions on immigration to prevent any mass crimes and to prevent economic issues, of course. But the fact that I can be known as a terrorist just because I believe in that, that's very scary for me. I believe that that's not how a country should be run. Many of you will watch this and not really care or really give a damn about this, because I understand that not everyone is as political as me and really believes in political ideologies, such as me. A lot of people watching this are just regular people who have other jobs or study other fields. They don't really care about what the government's doing. Because a lot of people don't really care about politics anymore, which in itself is scary, but regardless, I still believe that people should take notice of what I'm saying here. Now, I don't expect everyone to watch this video. I don't expect half of the people I know to watch this video. I don't expect anyone to really watch this video, to be honest. It would be great if they did. However, my ideas don't differ from many others. And I believe that people need to start speaking out. Because if we don't start speaking out, then the government are going to restrict our speech even more. Day by day. There will be restrictions every day on what we can say and do. The leftists will control the government, and they will control our freedom of speech. I believe everyone should be allowed to speak. If people were restricting the leftists as much as they are the right wing, I would happily defend the right wing. Well, the left wing, sorry. I would happily defend everything they believe, and, well, not so much what they believe, but the right to speak about what they believe. Because if we don't speak, then we will never know what each other are thinking. And if we don't know what each other are thinking, then we won't know what the best and suitable course of action is for the country. If we don't know what our people are truly thinking, then how do we know if we're doing a good job in Parliament, passing laws? How do we know we're doing a good job governing the country if the people actually want something else, but are keeping quiet because they're too scared to be called a racist? If you truly believe something, you should be allowed to speak about that and not be called a terrorist for it. You should be allowed to protest that on the streets of the United Kingdom. We should embed that in our constitution. It is unwritten, but I believe it's an important part of it. Regardless of what your political ideologies are, you should believe that Lauren Southern's case is a tragic one. Lauren Southern should be allowed into the UK. She should be allowed to speak her mind and to spread what she believes. I believe that it is horrifying that the world is being restricted the way it is. Now, as I said, I don't expect anyone to watch this. If you do, please share this. Please just comment down below what your opinions are on it, on the controversy itself. And if you don't want to share it, please speak out yourself. Record your own video, or just put up a status on Facebook. Go out on the streets and speak if you're that interested in it. But that's all I really have to say about this. And remember, if you really want to have freedom of speech, now's your time to speak out. Because it's only going to get worse from here.